Welcome back to Shaking the Damn Table. How are y'all doing this week? Y'all had a good week so far? I sure hope so. As always, we have our host, myself, Miss Memri.
Amyna.
David.
Always with the best on the couch, okay? And we got our guest this week. You've seen him before.
What's up? It's John.
Mr. John over here. Yes, so happy to have him.
Glad to be back.
Yes,
Glad to be back.
Back with us on the couch.
Pretty comfortable couch.
Pretty comfortable couch. So how about we switch it up this week? How about this week we start with the trivia?
Oh, okay.
All right.
Shaking the
Start
show.
off
Shaking the show.
We're shaking it up.
Hey, let's do it.
Let's see if they're ready, because
Oh,
I'm hosting again.
You know, this didn't exist when I was.
You said
last time. I was like, dang, bro,
y'all, I see y'all progress. Y'all
So
know.
now you gotta, this is your first
Now I
time.
gotta
Yeah.
just go off, man.
Come on.
I'm waiting to get back here.
Let's get right in it. Let's just go on and do it.
Alright, so question number one.
Okay.
What group launched the Freedom Rides in 1961? Was it A, ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union? Was it B, SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference? Was it C? Was it C, CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality? Or was it D, SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee?
I may know. Read the answers again.
A, ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union. B, SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. C, CORE, the Congress of Racial Equality. Or D, SNCC, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
CEO of SNCC.
Alright.
Right.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
And reveal your answers. John was right.
Give me that. Communist core?
The Congress of Racial.
Core is at UAB, but.
Are you guys ready
dang.
for question number 2?
Okay.
It was B.
All
I knew
right.
it was too.
So, whose 1939 Easter Sunday concert at the Lincoln Memorial broke racial barriers and was seen as an important moment in the struggle for civil rights? Was it A, Marian Anderson? Was it B, Shirley Horn? Was it C, Billie Holiday? Or was it D, Pearl Bailey?
What was the year?
1939.
Does it make a difference to you, John?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, musical knowledge.
I'm in between two.
So give me the time.
Give me the year again. All right.
All right. Let me dissect a little more. I don't even know.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Alright, and flip.
Yeah.
And everybody is wrong. It was A, Marian Anderson.
I was like, oh, Billy.
Yeah.
Billy. Okay.
Well,
All right. So the last question.
Student leads, okay.
Now I got tired again.
Okay, so Faye Waddleton was the first African American appointed to head which of these? A, Radcliffe College. B, Congressional Black Caucus. C, American Women's Suffrage Association. Or D, Planned Parenthood Federation of America.
What was his name? Or her name? Or
Faye Waddleton.
Faye?
Waddleton.
Is this?
Faye
Say the question one more time. I'm sorry.
Faye Waddleton was the first African American appointed to head A, Radcliffe College. B, Congressional Black Caucus. C, American Women's Suffrage Association. Or D, Planned Parenthood Federation of America.
Can you just repeat A and B, please?
A was Radcliffe College and B was Congressional Black Caucus.
Alright.
You guys ready?
I got some.
Okay.
And flip. Memri and John were correct.
Let's get it.
Planned Parenthood.
Yes.
What?
Which
You know what?
makes John the winner.
Yes! Come back for the crown! Hey!
For the
That's for
gold.
not doing it the first time.
I love it.
Wow, he spoke it and he did
And
it.
he
See,
did it.
words
Wow.
are powerful, people. Speak stuff into existence.
Great. That was a good game.
It
They
was.
That was
always
good.
come in.
They do.
Yeah, gas been killing us.
Okay, so how about next we do the Black Business of the Week?
Okay, let's do it. So this week I had to find a business pretty quick, but one of my coworkers told me about this. Some of y'all might have seen it. It's basically like a fashion blog type thing, and they have their Instagram page is Nothing LLC. The business is called Nothing, and they have some merch like Gianni, they're cool with the dude, and he has like very exclusive merch he dropped every now and then. It's like inspired by like agriculture and landscaping. Okay. That's what he is. So a little snippet he has from on the front page of his website. He says Nothing LLC is an exploration of past and current events and how they influence design. Roman Denson is a self-taught photographer and designer who's constantly studying theories of art, design, and the way they play in the modern world. So if you go on his page, just go to his IG page, you see the link nothingllc.com, or straight to the page, and like on there you can see he has like a lot of different, like a lot of the pictures it'd be like there's a picture of Biggie, there's pictures from like black movies, just a bunch of designs that have influenced a lot of stuff we enjoy today, like that we don't, what I'm saying, like stuff like that. So he has a really cool perspective. If you definitely check his page out, and he has merch. I like how he has a system too with his merch, because like he does like it'd be like one drop at like a time and nothing for months. So it's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, it keeps you going, but keeps you like wanting to be engaged in it. But right now he has like
3000 stuff.
Exactly. But right now he has like a long sleeve faculty and crew gray sweatshirt. It says realist on it, and that's on there for right now. If you want to check it out, it's $55. You can support Black men. So if you got it, you know what I'm saying, like if you want to support it, but it's real clean. I'll have the picture right here. But it's really
cool. We ain't gonna be here.
But it's really clean. I'm a cop one, support him, but
that's cool.
Yeah. Just check the page out. You'll like his page. It's real dope aesthetic on his IG. So.
You always bring like really good businesses. Like you're like last week with the books and this week with the fashion. It's diverse.
I be pulling them out.
Yeah, you do good. You do good. Okay, so how about we move right into the move of the week?
All right, so the move of the week is hosted by the Kickback. There are 2 events coming up actually. The first is Tropi-Caba 2. There will be art, music, food, and drinks. There'll be a Cahaba Brewing Company stage and a Tropical Leo stage.
Okay.
And it's on March 30th from 3 p.m. to 2 a.m. So that's a whole
day. Kickback.
I'll be busy,
right.
All that time.
And the next event is hosted by the Kickback and the Mix. And that's a nonprofit focused on creating a viable network for Black creatives and entrepreneurs. The event is Southern Made Creatives SMC, and it's at Inslee Live Loft on April 6th from 7 to 11 p.m. It's going to have local artists, vendors, and live performances, and it's hosted by DJ Dolly.
Cool.
Okay.
A lot of local artists and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Brought to you by the Kickback.
Yeah, like they come with it all the time,
Yes,
and it gets bigger and bigger. Shout out Kickback.
Shout out Melvin and Champ.
Yeah.
Champ.
Yeah, he was on the show not too long ago.
Right.
Okay, so for our topic, I spent a long time thinking about this, and how to talk about it is religion. So, like, of course, that's a very broad topic. And I feel like being in the South, religion can be a huge thing here. But really, Christianity is really, of course, the number one religion all over the U.S. So I just really wanted to, like, pick everyone's brains and, like, see what you all think about religion, if you do anything yourself, if you have any personal religious practice that you do. Maybe you don't do nothing. That's cool too. I just wanted us to have a little discussion about religion and all that goes into it. So the first question I was even kind of tossed around in my head is like, what would you define religion as? What would you, and to you, what does it mean to you? What do you think it means to other people?
That's a dope question.
John.
I want to hear it. When I knew John was on the show, I'm like, oh, insight. When I knew John.
I want to hear guest perspective first. That's how we're going to start.
Pressure. All right.
All of the lights.
I guess for me, I think I answer it 2 ways.
Yeah.
What I feel like religion is to the world, like, to me, like, I don't want to say nothing like
keep it real.
All right.
Shake the table.
All right. I feel like religion, like that was kind of like one of the main things that divided the world. Like, oh, you believe in this, oh, I disagree with that, so I don't like you, you know, that we got to separate, you know, and because your beliefs are different, because there's a title to it, like Christian, like Catholic, or whatever it is, and I just kind of feel like labels kind of divide people sometimes. I don't know, but what I think what's more important to me is like spirituality. Like sometimes like, I don't even call myself a Christian because it's just like I don't know. Like I of course I believe in Jesus. I believe in God.
You were raised Christian, and
right?
Like that, yeah.
But I feel like when you just say that sometimes is I don't know.
It becomes a crutch for some
Like I love God. Like
I totally feel you right now. Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're a Christian. Now I gotta uphold this certain image because I'm a Christian. Like I don't know. That's how I feel about it. I feel weird about it. I know I love God and God has changed my life. But sometimes I don't even want to be calling myself a Christian.
I'm feeling the same way, but I was like raised in the church in a whole other way. Like, you know, yeah. And then it's kind of like, you know, everybody will look at you as like a pastor's kid and expect you to like do certain stuff, and I'm just like, I'm a kid
I ain't
trying
asked
to
for
figure
this.
out like, my life, you know, period, and then having like other people putting their expectations on top of me and stuff, but then finding out how the church really is and like how people are and stuff like that kind of made me like want to shy away from religion, period. So it was like moments where I kind of felt like I believe in God, but I'm feeling a connection because people ruined it for me. But also, you know, I had to like grow and try to learn how to like not get involved in that so much. So sometimes being in like church doesn't help me necessarily.
I think you get a lot of people our age saying like, I love God, but I don't really go to church for real. You know, like I kind of feel like what John was saying, like I was raised Christian, right? Like I love God, but I feel like I've been on this journey to like find out what that means for myself. You know, because the way my parents raised me, parents got great parents, shout out my parents, got great parents, you know, and they raised me the way that they thought they should. Like I try not to, you know, you can't fault them for that. They do the best they can.
Yeah.
So the way they taught Jesus and God to me is kind of different than how I see him now. And like going through that transition and like saying, well, I will see him like this and not necessarily like that. It's a journey, and I kind of feel what you're saying with like I don't sometimes like to call myself a Christian because automatically people are going to look at you like you ain't acting like a Christian, you know, and it's just like I don't need that right now.
Right.
You know, but I love God. You know, if you ask me, I love God. I'll talk about God. You know, that's not a problem. But I feel like the identity crisis that can come with being a Christian, and sometimes, and I hate to say this, sometimes some Christians out there be acting a little crazy, and I'm like, but don't put me with them. You know, like I'm not with them. You know, I don't hate gay people. I don't, you know.
There's always like those extremists.
They ruin it. And I'm like, I ain't that.
Can I just say this?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I know you're coming next, but like all these killings, these racist people, what they be claiming? They Christian.
Exactly. That's what I meant.
The massacre that just happened
on slavery and stuff like that. Them white people was out here like, oh, we're gonna change your name from Kunta Kinte to a Christian name, and we're gonna make you into a Christian man.
I just can't get with y'all.
That's not my guy. I don't know what you repping or claiming. And I know, but for me, of course, like, of course, I was definitely raised Christian. Anyone who's met my dad knows that. For a fact, like, he won't let you. Like, come here, let me tell you the word. Like, come here.
David's dad, I've heard so much about him. I got to meet him.
Yeah, you will leave filled. Some form of word, some scripture is gonna be your brain.
Every time.
But exactly. But like, shout out, Dad. Hey, see you. But like she said, like these days, like how I view it versus like how I was raised in it is completely different. Because like growing up, I didn't, when we went to church every day like clockwork. I could count how many times I missed. every Sunday. My bad.
Sometimes it feels like every day though. Programs and conferences. Sometimes
Damn,
it
the
feels
pastor. Actually, ordained. I said like clockwork. No, but we went every Sunday. You know, it was just like routine. But I never felt like a connection. I guess it was the church we were at, but I never felt like a connection in the church. So I was like, but I was always like, it feels good to be here in his presence. But everything else, the politics of church and like just how you just feel out of place sometimes. So that's why it's important to find a church for you or find the relationship with God for you. You know what I'm saying? It was like, unfortunately, like my mom like told me the other day, she was saying like a church she's been going to for a while. She went one day and it was like they were basically announced like the pastor had to get removed because he did something. And you know what I'm saying? Like my mom's she has a long standing faith, and she was just like, that was just so like I didn't see that coming at all. Like, she's like, I haven't been in a couple weeks. It was like like you know what I'm saying? But then I also think like when you said like you read sermons daily, you have certain things to do daily. Like it's all my mom always like I feel like she told me later on it's more important about like how like what you do to strengthen your personal relationship with God versus filling a mold and like like some people just go to church because people say that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like being in the building and doing everything.
Yeah, like you literally
sitting up in there talking about folks and stuff like that. Church
Come on
messy,
now,
but you out here blocking your blessings because you're talking about people in the church and God over here trying to bless you.
Right. Like,
Did you receive that? Receive that. Okay.
The whole word.
Yes.
Like,
See, that's why I don't go to church.
Yeah, because I know I used to treat church like kind of like a check mark thing of my week. I really did. I would go to church. I'd be like, this word was good. I did my part for the week. I feel good. I can like, you know what I'm saying. But that's not what it's about. It's not a robotic thing. It's like a personal thing. Like so, yeah.
And that kind of makes me think like, what is it, if anything, that you all do to strengthen that relationship with God or practice that religion or whatever that may be? Do you meditate? Do you pray? Have that special time, one-on-one time? Do you do anything?
For me, like I guess it's kind of how y'all were just talking about, like they put so much emphasis on going to church. My opinion on that is, yes, I believe God wants you in church. I believe you would definitely, everybody benefits from going to church. I think you're better off. I do think you're better off going to church. But I hate how they try to make it seem like you're doomed if you don't.
Right.
And it's almost like God doesn't love you anymore because you're not in church. No, because where I'm at now in my life, I'm the best I've ever been spiritually in my faith, and I haven't been in church in over a year. That's because every day I look at a Bible plan, and also thank God the technology today we can watch our pastors from our home. So I still watch my pastor's sermons. I'm just not there.
Yeah.
So I'm still getting the words, getting spiritually fed every day. And so I read the Bible, playing on my lunch, and then I go home. First thing I do, watch a sermon. Then I go about the rest of my day or whatever I got to do. And so, but through that, I've grown tremendously. But I haven't been to church. Yes, I believe I probably would be even better if I've gone to church. But God shows up in spite. Like God is always trying to reach you. He doesn't. He's just not going to stop reaching you because he's not in church.
Yeah.
But I hate how they try to make it that. We don't have to go to church. I believe that.
Yeah. But see, it also comes to the point of like people who haven't been to church in a while or whatever, they go back and people start shaming them for that, and then making it seem like, oh, what you was out there doing. It's like you can do, like you said, you can do things for yourself. I think you have to have a mindset of being able to receive the word, which is very important, but it can be very clouded if you're worried about other things, which comes into the physical aspect of like how you have to look when you go to church and everything. What other people think about like what you have on or how you're acting or whatever, like you have to put on a show basically just to get there, instead of being able to like just go in,
come as you are,
and then connect with people on that level. But
yeah, that's true. Like I said, the politics of it, a lot of times that deters people from coming, and it can disrupt like their spirit and like how they're, like the strength of it and like how they're trying to reach God. But but as long as the church is, wherever the church you go to is welcoming, and they make sure they make you feel like most churches I've gone to, I've never felt like not welcome or anything. Even visiting church was good, but sometimes you can, definitely even new visitors, like you have to really make them feel welcome, all that kind of thing. Like so,
it's a thing.
Very careful of your spirit because people are watching you, and you don't know what people like. are going through or what they may have seen in you before, and then if you act like, a certain way in church later on, to be like, I don't know.
Yeah, so true.
That's so true. Yeah, I agree with John. Like, I think that it is important to go to a church. Like, I think that it's important to have a church home, or, whatever that may be for your religion, the place where you gather to worship. I think that it's important to have. And then you also can, when you're in a good church, in a good place, a healthy place, you can form relationships, and, that can actually help you. Like, I go to Faith Chapel, and I've met people who have helped me, and I think that there are some negatives that can come with church, but I feel like it's people, people just aren't perfect. But I think that there are some really great people walking around some of these churches, like, who are really trying to do what God wants them to do. Yeah. So I do try to go when I can. Now, the thing of this, what happened to Faith Chapel, we had a service, I'm going to tell y'all this, at 10, and then they moved it to 9:30. That's what really passed me up. Okay? That's night, because I was like, yeah, I'm here. Oh, I'm going. 9:30. I said, man, I don't know if that's right, but I'll read my Bible plans and things like that, and I'll watch it online and stuff like that. So I think you just have to do what you feel you need to do. I feel like that's what's so great about religion, is you can make your spirituality into what fits well for you and what feels good to you, and shape it how you want, And
even when you saying that, like, it's a learning process, because everybody is different. So like, everybody's steps to get into that is different, and however they may need to like go into finding their own faith and stuff like that, whether it starts in church or starts outside of church, and it ends towards either path. But I think, like, people try to force it into a linear kind of thing. Like, you can only do it by doing X, Y, and Z. So then people kind of feel like, well, if I don't fit into exactly how it looks it's supposed to be, then I'm not doing it right. So why should I do it at all?
That's deep, man. Oh, that's so true. I really think that's why a lot of people just give it all up. It's like, if you don't do it, if it don't look like this, it ain't for you.
It's not a mold they're supposed to follow. It's not supposed to be like our journey is like, we're going the same direction, but we're all, you over here, I'm over here, you over here, you know what I'm saying? Like, we trade spots like that. And that's crazy, like you said about the linear thing. Cause my dad, he always said, like, growing up, he was like, Christianity is not like a math equation. Like, I do A, B follows. So it's literally the same thing you just said. He told me that like my whole life. So it's a lot of times it can be a mold template type thing, and it's not going to be like that. It's very fluid.
Yeah.
So have y'all ever went through a period where you were just questioning, like, is anybody even up there? Is anybody even down there?
Ooh.
Are the angels amongst me?
It's about to get dark.
Feel like a lot of people relate to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely, man.
You don't have to, like, you ain't got to, well, this happened, you ain't got to do it. But, I feel like I go through periods where, my faith is just shaking. And I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. It ain't not working out right now. And I do not understand why, And I feel like, if you believe in faith, and if you believe in, you go through things to build your faith and things like that. I feel like I've been through things that have reinforced my trust in God, but still, you get to those moments,
It's rocky.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay. For me, like, I was definitely there, especially like recently. Like, everything was going wrong, everything. But like I said, in those dark moments in your struggle, or at least for me, in my struggle, I was still watching plans. Even though I'm not really believing it, I'm still feeding my spirit, because eventually you're gonna start believing these things. And so like I said, God is always reaching out to you, always. You just gotta start paying attention and looking. So he started showing me, revealing things, like why I'm around my friends, and and I've reached out to all y'all, that that we are creatives and things like that. And he started showing me that every job I've had has taught me something, and each struggle that we've all had multiple struggles, and probably dark days we thought we weren't going to make it, but we made it each time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know, it's like it's so complex. Like it's so many. And then we got
Mm-hmm.
social media, so we see other people's lives, and we want this stuff now, and we forget that God has us on our own path, and we got to stop comparing ourselves. And it's like we hear these words, but for some reason we not believing it. It's like all you have to do is start believing this stuff, and your life will change. Like for real, because I just believe that's what faith is. You have to believe it, and then once you start believing it, you start seeing like, oh, this is why I was here. This is why. This is it's stuff start connecting because God is always reaching out to you. You just got to just start believing it. But sorry, I didn't mean to preach.
So I'm about to run off the set, take off. No, that's true. Like it's literally. I mean, like that's what faith is. It's literally like you can't. It's something you can't see, you can't feel, but you can feel it like in a spiritual way. But like it's not tangible. So like you have to. It takes a lot of strength to be able to do that, and that's the whole. The more you cling on to God, the more He's going to recognize. He knows when we're sacrificing for Him because He sacrifices us 24/7. He knows when we're actually sacrificing for Him, and that's when He blesses you. So, like you said, it's literally trusting, and it's a process to get there. Because life be like, you ain't gonna get your feet settled, all the time. But you see, you had told me like a while back, like everybody has a storm. We're basically gonna have storms at all times because sin is in this world. You're never really not gonna be going through something that's gonna be changing you or growing you. But what I'm saying, like, but you have to find your shelter in your storm. Yeah. So it's like wherever that may be, like you can't look at you can look at other people's stories for like inspiration through hard times type of thing. But you have to remember like your story is like yours, so you have to find your own peace in your storm. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people look for that on social media. They look for that. And people, before they look at it, they look for that in God, and it has to be God first, obviously, because if anything is ever before Him, it's not gonna be blessed. Right. And a lot of times we have things, but we put things before Him.
Yeah.
And working on that, but
So, how much would y'all say your religion like shapes and affects your own lives, your daily lives, has affected your life in the past? And how much do you think it affects the world around you? And you can take the world as far as you want. The government, the history. We hit on slavery a little bit earlier. How much do you think it's shaped this country?
Actually, one of the movies that I often refer to when it comes to religion is the Book of Eli, because it's so interesting to me, like the way that they talked about how these people were using the Bible to influence other people, and just basically how they were taking over the world with this influence because people were just following them because they seemed to be like the wise people, whatever. I think that with that, though, we try to make it seem like we separate religion and church and from government and stuff like that or whatever. Like everything is still rooted into what is basically under most religions or basically Christianity's standard of how morals and things should be or whatever in the country. Though, in the Book of Eli, you have different groups or whatever who kind of make that religion into however they want it to be for whatever moral they want to choose to believe in from the Bible or not. Like when it comes to homosexuality or stuff like that, people will say we see that that's a sin or whatever, so we're going to ban people from that, but we don't see that we shouldn't ban people from the church. So I think that it influences a lot in our society for sure. because you definitely see like anything that has to do with a lot of the topics that people are arguing about or everything comes back to religion and how people just view on their beliefs and stuff like that. And basically you're fighting people on a belief system and not off of what is really right or wrong.
Yeah. Scripture.
I don't know. Religion in the world is just
Yes.
Tainted.
yeah, it's done so much. I just keep referencing the massacre that just happened. Like, it just murdered all them people
In New Zealand.
Yeah, just because
We're talking about the massacre.
they was praying, like, you know what? And it's just stuff like that. And what shakes my faith the most, like stuff like that happens in the world, is just like, God, like sometimes it don't be like it. Sometimes living on this earth doesn't feel real. I'm like, this is what Earth is like. This is some very dark stuff going on in this world right now. Like, and we're all, I don't know if we just getting older and realizing it, or has it been happening?
Been like
do all adults hit this, or is it getting darker? Like, it's
both,
crazy.
probably.
Yes.
All right, both.
There's stuff going on.
We was righteous desensitized, like, for real.
Yeah.
Like you said, as you get older, your perspective grows. You kind of break that mold. You've been as a child. You're like, wait a minute, nah, man, this stuff
Why is
messed
it like this? Like,
It's all messed
even
up.
with the Charleston shooting or whatever, I like cried so much because it was like crazy. How's somebody gonna sit and like worship with y'all, like watch y'all do that for an hour and then say, "Oh, I'm about to shoot everybody in this place." So, like, that shit's crazy to me. And like you said, that can get into a point where it's kind of like.
Yeah.
It's y'all.
on,
You're supposed to smite them at the door.
What are we supposed to do?
Yeah, I agree.
We knew all this corruption was out there, but when it hits the church, like, you know what I'm saying, I was like, whoa, okay, like everything's off the table now. Like, what is this? Like, you know, that was a whole nother level.
Yeah. Do y'all ever? How do I say this? Like, use your religious beliefs to like explain like what happened in New Zealand? You know, like I just say this is my personal belief. I think that it's good and bad in this world, you know, and good and bad in this world, and I think that on this terrain of Earth, you know, God has control. But as there are evil spirits here, they are also able to work and to have power and to use people and to cause bad things to happen too. But I just think that we can be used for good, or we can allow ourselves to be used for bad. But I've had the same thought, like, has the world always been like this?
Yeah.
Like, or am I just getting older and now seeing it? But I think it's both. I think it's kind of always sucked. And then you're just getting old enough to see it suck so much, you know? But, I mean, do y'all ever use your religious beliefs to, like, okay, say, well, this is why that happened. I know a lot of really spiritual people who believe in, like, the spiritual world amongst us and believe that there's evil and good fighting in that spiritual world. I guess, what do y'all think?
Angels all around.
Yeah. Demons too. I agree. I
think it's just when it comes to stuff like that, like, this evil stuff happening in the world, it's not for me to understand. That's part of it. I'm like, I always try to think of it, because I'm gonna spend forever eternity trying to find an answer, and I'm never gonna find it. I'm just gonna be sad. It's that, and then it's also mixed with what you said, like, there's demons, there's evil spirits, like, you know, the curse is on this world, and I don't know really what we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I guess we can just pray, but
that's it.
Evil spirits do exist. I believe, you know, they can, you know, they take over people.
Yeah.
I mean, like, as far as that goes, like, as you say, I mean, as a believer, like, I already know, like, the world isn't going to come to a good end.
Right.
So,
exactly.
At one point, you know, you have to kind of look at it as,
yeah.
This is gonna happen, but
we gotta do what we can to what we are able to do to help,
right?
And what we can, but we gotta also know that we can't fix everything
Yeah,
because
like the
that's
things
what's going to
that
happen.
That's true. Things
Yeah.
gonna happen. That's
It's
true.
inevitable. Like,
Right.
like I was going back to like, when they ate the fruit and sowed that seed in the world forever. Everything that manifested from that point is what's going on now, and it's and we know it's going to get worse before it gets better, which is eternal life. But until then, it's just the chaos is going to be multiplied, and I feel like Trump being elected, I don't care. I think it's all part. It's all going down. We know the quality of America before Trump was in office. We know everyone. You cannot say that stuff didn't decline in all aspects of everything. Right. So it's all part of the seeds that were sowed, unfortunately, from the fruit. I think, and it was a dark seed. It wasn't a good seed that was sowed at all. Sin turns into sin in its worst form is death. Not to depress, but it's just like
that's true. That's
you know what I'm saying? Like, just being real. Like, if this is destined, like, for real. So we just have to. That's what makes the fight so hard. But you have to still do your part because God is still in control.
I agree. So one final question: would you ever change your religion? God is watching you. No, I'm just playing. Would you ever change? God is everywhere.
Never, without a doubt.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't really know.
If you received something that was just like, wow, I believe that, I don't know, whatever that may be.
I mean, not really, because I don't know, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like, I mean,
you're found. You're fine with what you believe now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like there's anything too hard about. I mean, it's not easy, but I don't think there's anything too hard about it that I would be like, maybe I should just try something else. And I mean, most of religion, the spirituality concepts of them are the same.
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't change mine, but I would one day I want to explore different ones because one common concept amongst pretty much all religion is treat others how you like to be treated. The golden rule. So I would just kind of love to kind of just see how they relate and kind of different perspectives on that concept and how you should treat people. I would just kind of love to see.
I like
but
that.
I definitely don't want to change mine.
Yeah, I don't think I would either, but I would look into other religions because I think that they're like gems you can pull from other religions, like beautiful things that can help all of us.
And meditation too. I would love meditation.
I do like how some religions pray like have specific times.
I like that too.
Stuff like that.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, you can just hit a new.
A whole
just
new
a whole
level,
new person.
a whole new enlightened being. Yeah.
Can incorporate all that definitely. Like we had said, like all the cultures around. Like, it's cool how a Christian can travel and still have a good connection, good time with another religion from someone else that they haven't even met. Because like there's a similar goal in all of this.
Yeah.
But just the politics of time zones and everything. So I feel like we have the root, like in our mind we have like the root of like the understanding of what Christianity is and like connection to God, relationship with God. So it's like I understand like my relationship with God is not always dependent on the Christianity that I was born into. You know what I'm saying? The mold of what that is. So I know that it's at the end of the day my relationship with God is something that I control, is more separate than just like following this mold that I did growing up, because I didn't know, I didn't have the tools to do,
I feel
so that's like I'm more focused on my personal growth with him versus anything. But
and I think that's what's really important in all of this. Like, you might have grown up with everybody, your pastor, your mama, your grandma, telling you one thing, XYZ, and then you grow up and you don't believe that anymore, and that's okay. Or you believe something a little differently. I think that's okay too. And I think it's always just a journey, and you just got to figure that out on your own. Can't nobody tell you what you need to believe, what you don't need to believe.
Amen. Discernment. We all have discernment.
Yes, that will be the word of this episode. Discernment. And on that note, I think we've had a good conversation with this. Yeah. Like, I really am open. Like, I love hearing what other people think about their religion. Like, it's always a good conversation, I feel. So, in closing, like always, we got my two guests here. Whoa! Cut that out. We got my two hosts here.
I didn't even know this. I was like,
No, but my two guests, because I was thinking giant guests with them. But got my two guests. I did that again.
We are all good.
We all here. It's Shaking the Damn Table. We got John, guest this week.
Hey.
We got my man David. He's always here. And my girl, Amyna. Catch us next week. Have a good one.
Y'all take care.